Hello everyone, so I have Miss Cordelia here with me today for a second video. I usually like to switch up, which baby I have in each video so that, it's not just the same doll over and over and over again. But I actually just really recently changed Susie and Winona. And so I was like, well, I guess we'll just be making another video with Cordelia here, but I promise next video will feature a different baby. But first off, I just wanted to say that this is my first finished garment that I have made for my reborns. I mean, aside from the little socks, but like full, like big, finished outfit. And I am super excited with the way that it turned out. I think the colors just turned out beautifully. I love the pattern. I'll leave the link for the pattern down below in case any of you guys are crocheters. I unfortunately made the buttonholes slightly too big for the buttons that I had, so I'll have to kind of fix that little issue. But anyway, I still wanted to come on and share it. But anyway, today I will be changing her into this cute little one-piece romper thing. Can't think of the right word for it. Jumper? I always forget what like the little footless ones are called. I guess a footless sleeper. I'm making this too complicated. Anyway, so today is going to be kind of a topic that I feel like I've like sort of kind of talked about before, but anyway, I'll kind of just start off by saying that I think as long as you sort of follow like the basic care instructions for your reborn, you shouldn't really have any huge issues, but I kind of just thought this was an interesting topic. So this topic of like, how different climates can sort of affect how your reborn might age, I started thinking about it because someone in one of my videos, as I was like spraying the doll's hair, directly, and they're like, oh my gosh, what if the water like seeps into the doll's like head and starts molding? And I was like, does anyone actually have problems with like molding with their dolls? That sounds just super weird. And then I kind of remembered, like, I live in a very dry state, and if anything is molding here, like, it's getting constant, like, daily, hourly water exposure. So, I guess we'll kind of just start with that. Some of the drawbacks of like living in a really moist environment is, the possibility of mold. Like, if there was an accident where maybe you drop some water on your doll, then like you might be worried about that. Or like I know people have talked about in like the drinking wets, if you like don't prop them up once they're done, like some water can stay in there and possibly mold. So that's definitely an issue that can happen, in an area that's just really wet. It can also kind of affect the mohair. I've never really heard of water seeping into the doll's head and then molding that way. I suppose that it could happen, and there probably are horror stories about it, but I personally, in my years of collecting dolls, I've never seen any molding being caused by spraying your reborn's hair with a conditioner. So that person might have had a bad experience with that, but mold could be a problem. And then, kind of the opposite with that is a really dry climate sort of like negatively affects your reborn's hair. So I've noticed that, some of the dolls that I've had and other people that have had, dolls for a long time in dry climates is if you don't moisturize your doll's mohair, it can get so dry that it can break off. And so it's really important to have either like a mohair conditioner. I think that's the best stuff to use, but you can also use like a coconut oil-based conditioner, like for human hair, and you can use that tiny bit, like just a little drop inside some water and kind of mix that together. That can work as well. I found that works pretty well for my dolls. I really haven't had a whole lot of breakage. So then I kind of want to talk about hot and cold environments as well. So, you know, in really hot, sunny environments, you know, you have to make sure that you keep the doll away from direct sunlight because it can fade the paint a little bit. That's the really only thing that I could think about. Hello, so this is Editing Cassie here. I totally forgot to mention that in extreme heat, your doll can also kind of melt a little bit, sort of like it being in the oven. I've really only heard of that happening when someone leaves their doll in an extremely hot car, but I just kind of wanted to add that in there real quick. And then kind of the opposite of, you know, somewhere being really cold is things can crack. So keeping your dolls just, you know, in your house, don't leave them in the car for long periods. Things like that is just a smart plan. And then kind of what I want to talk about, which is what I experience, is going from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. And so, you know, where I live in the summertime, it can be over 100 degrees. And then in the wintertime, it can be, you know, -2 degrees Celsius or -2 degrees Fahrenheit. I've been watching too many British videos. And so, you know, that huge change back and forth, I've kind of heard that that can cause, you know, if you're leaving your dolls really close to windows or sometimes those really dramatic differences. I've never actually like seen it with, I've heard that that difference can crack the varnish slightly. Reborn artists will have to kind of let me know about that, if that's kind of just a myth or if that actually can happen. And, you know, the thing with me, too, is I've been in the Reborn community for quite a long time, and so, like, I've heard little, like, bits and pieces throughout the time that I've been here, and, like, some of these could totally only be for, like, older Reborns, you know, before they found, like, newer and better techniques. So there is that. But, yeah, I think just overall, like, keeping your doll in an environment that, you know, you can also live in should honestly be just fine, and you shouldn't have to worry about it really too much or think about it. But yeah, it kind of just got me thinking, like, you know, based on like where you live, you totally have to think about things in different ways. So, like, I'm constantly worried about my doll's hair breaking, whereas, you know, someone in Florida might be really worried about like their doll having mold inside of it. And so, yeah, I kind of want to know, like, where you guys live or, you know, around what area. And if you kind of experienced, like, any, you know, weird stuff happening to your dolls just, like, based on where you live. And, like, what kind of things have you sort of noticed, I guess. But, yeah, all around, I kind of want to say that I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm kind of just, you know, rambling and throwing some ideas out there. But anyway, this sweet little girl, she just looks so freaking cute. I love this blanket with the little one piece here. It's perfect for Pride Month too, with all the rainbows. But anyway, I hope that you guys are doing well. And if you have any video requests or suggestions for me, I'd love to hear it. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.